Okay, so we drew the underbelly. Now we are going to draw the legs. Like I said, something that is tall cannot be long, and something that is long cannot be tall. So we're gonna do short, stubby legs, right? I do like a curved line towards the tail. That is its knee right there. This is its knee. And then I come out and I do like a harder, like a soft L, I guess. A soft L, and then I do little feet. Like I said before, I don't know how to describe my feet. That it's not something I can describe. I don't want to go too hard with the details until I am like finished. I don't want to go crazy hard like how I did that. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to go soft, and I want to do a lot of lines that are soft lines, not hard lines, until I finish, right? The chest is okay. And then I do the same thing that I did up there. Sometimes the elbow is more close to the chest. Sometimes it's not. Depends on how I'm feeling that day. But then I go up, I do the head. The head is generally the last thing, but I like to get a general idea of how it's gonna look. And I don't want the head up that high. That doesn't look cute to me. That looks a little icky. The neck is too long, longer than I thought. So as you can see, with this one, I was able to delete the head in a really quick amount of time. This one would take me a long time because I did dark lines and this eraser ain't that good. So I'm going to figure out, I want the head a little bit lower, and I think I want a head kind of like that. And I want the shoulders to come down a little bit more. Right? And literally all that I did is I moved the circle down and I moved everything else so that it was a nice curvy line. So it wasn't like a little like hard line in that direction. And I don't want this dragon to have a super duper big forehead. So instead of doing the entire circle, I'm doing like half, like a third of the, 2/3 of the circle. And then because I want this to be a little bit more of like a harder edge dragon, I'm going to do some like sharp horns, and literally that's just a triangle. It's literally just a triangle. And I do a little bit bump on the head because if there was a horn, it would have a bump, right? It would have to grow out of something. So to make it a little bit of like a scarier dude, I'm going to give it like really hard eyebrows. And I'm not like going to color in eyebrows because obviously they don't have hair. They don't have actual eyebrows. So I literally just do like a sled. Literally, that's what I think the eyebrows look like a lot of the time, is just like a sled. And then you're just like, oh, there's muscle there. That looks like an eyebrow. And then I do like a colored in oval for the nose. And then sometimes I like to give them little horns on their nose because I think that looks a little cute. And then because he isn't actually a mean guy, he's gonna be a cute little guy, and he's gonna have this cute little beak, right? That's his little head. He has a cute little beak, and he is just an angry looking, but not an angry guy. And then he's gonna have these little bumps, and I just do literal half circles all the way down its back because I think that is cute. And they start out small and they generally get smaller. I just literally didn't think to do that. So, and because, like I said before, the spine is where these bumps are going to be growing. It's going to go right here. And you just, to make it look like they're turning, you just make the bumps smaller or bigger when you're about to switch over the side. So I literally just made this one a little bit smaller so that when it did switch over, it didn't look too crazy. But then I can do the other leg. And sometimes instead of just copying the same leg, I could do a leg that's up. So instead of doing that, I literally just do like, not a 90, maybe a 45-degree angle. And then I do like a little, like they're going like that, right? So it's just like a softer paw and it's like that. Right? And the back legs, generally the back legs are always the same. I don't do anything too crazy with those, but then I color that in, I color that in, and I color this in, and anything that would be closer to the back, closer and or further away from me is also going to get shaded. So this horn in the back, also going to be shaded. And then sometimes if I'm feeling fancy, I'm gonna shade like behind the legs. Not the entire tail, just a little triangle behind the legs. And sometimes, feeling extra special, I'll add in the chin because I forgot to do that. And I'll add it in right underneath that chin too. And then if I wanna make it look a little nicer, I'm going to erase these circles and that'll make it look a little cleaner. And I'll erase these lines. But like I was saying before, when you want to know where those scales go, generally I think big scales on the bottom. So I'll just do like a line of like, this is the top half, this is the bottom half. And it generally stops at like, you can't see it behind the legs, right? So you just stop at where the legs are. And then all you're going to do is literally, you're just going to do lines. It's like a ladder. You're literally making a ladder. And it generally starts at their chin. Sometimes it like is even on their chin, but you literally just do that. And generally the closer you get to the end of the tail, the smaller it gets. So you can't even see it is what I'm saying. It's not even gonna reach the end of the tail. And then for scales on the body, those are smaller. So on the face, I think they're little bumps like freckles. So I do circles. I'm just like, okay, this is giving the idea that like he's a scaly dude. And then on the body, I think mermaid tails. And when I used to draw mermaid tails, I would do like 3 lumps and I would do 3 lumps like that. And then to make it look a little bit like, okay, there are actually ones throughout the body. Sometimes I'll do 2, sometimes I'll do 1, and they get smaller as they go further down the body. And it's just like that. And you got to follow the way that the leg goes, right? So legs, I don't really know how I know this, but the scales are going to go down on the legs and they're going to go back on like the back and the tail, right? So that's that. Last one now. So we had our long dragon, our ugly dragon. Now we're going to have our winged dragon. So generally when I'm doing my winged dragon, I literally start with the wings. So sometimes I don't, sometimes I come up with that idea at the end. Sometimes I don't, it really depends. But since I know I'm drawing a winged dragon, I'm literally going to draw like a really big angle. I don't know how to describe how I do it, but I think you need a lot of power to do wings. So that's generally how I'm going to do that. And I'm sorry, I cannot do a lot of commentary for this because I literally don't know what I do. All I know is that like, sometimes they have little claws at the top of their wings, so I draw the little claw. I go like that. I look at bat wings. That's what I'm thinking about. A bat wing, and also a wing is literally just like an extra arm, right? So this is their elbow, this is their hand, and then right here, all of these would be fingers, right? So their fingers are gonna go out. So I think, okay, so there's gonna be a bone on that part of the wing, right? This edge part of the wing, this is like their pinky finger. Then every time I have one of these points, that's like an extra finger, right? So the wing, it goes up here and then it goes back down about here, right? And that is a wing. Sometimes I like to do more bird dragons, and so they don't have all this, they just have literal feathers. But that's how it goes. Sometimes I'm drawing it wrong here and I don't know why, but that's how that goes. This is the wing, and I shouldn't have gone into that much detail, but literally I'm gonna think wings, they're gonna go in the shoulders. So unless it's something that doesn't follow my logic of drawing dragons, which some of my drawings don't, sometimes they'll be in the middle of the back for no reason at all. It's gonna go right here. And literally we probably won't, well, we're gonna get a little bit of the face in there, right? So this is the shoulder. I drew this because I'm like, okay, it's a big dragon. These are gonna be the hips of the dragon. And then its tail is literally going to be off the page and I won't be able to see it. Next, I'm going to go into the shoulder because I think that would be a cool part to go into next. And literally, I just do a bigger version of this. And then I do that, and then you don't even have to do as much because you're literally going off the page. Like, you can't even do all that much. But I think I want this guy to have big old tummy scales. So I'm going to do some big lines and be like, okay, that's its tummy. You can't see it completely, but you know it's its tummy. And I want this guy to have back scales, so it's gonna have those back scales. And I know that the wing isn't literally at the top of the back, so it's gonna have to come out somewhere. And this is gonna be the rest of the body. And I already know he has big old tummy scales, so it's gonna look something like that. And half of its face, I can see a little bit of its jaw there. And the only part of it that I'm going to be able to see is these big old curly horns. So I can't even really see this dragon, but I know it has big old curly horns. And it's kind of looking like this. So it's a big old chunky dragon with big old horns. And could I have done a better job? Absolutely. Did I want to? No. That's why I made it look like this. But I really like this guy. That one's my favorite. This guy is a second place because these wings definitely wouldn't be able to carry this guy. This guy is huge and these wings are tiny compared to him. But this guy's my favorite, so he's going to get 100. This guy's at a 50, and this guy, not a 0. I think he's kind of funny. Definitely not loving him. Probably would change him. That's how you draw my long dragon. That's how you draw a wing. You literally just add it onto a long dragon. I'm not going to because I love this guy. And that's like a general idea of how I draw my reptiles. A lot of them, I say that they're dragons. Really, they're just big old lizards. They're just lizards with long legs a lot of the time. That's it. Okay.